Amnesty International has warned that hundreds of thousands of families in Spain are at risk of losing their homes, since about 9 million people live in poverty, many without legal support or access to information to enable them to assert their rights. The document underlines the rising of evictions of several families living in settlements such as the one in Cañada Real in Madrid. According to Amnesty International, the depriving people access to decent housing and universal public health are examples of human rights violations.
La hemos iniciado en España.
We are aware of the problem in our country and have adopted laws to help youngsters and families to purchase houses or rent them at reasonable prices. But we still have a lot to do to further improve the living conditions of our citizens.
Besides the problem of forced housing evictions in Spain, there are nearly 300,000 people who lack public health coverage simply because they do not receive unemployment benefits or have never been able to find a job. The study warns that many of the poor people in Spain are legally helpless, since there are no laws to support them or simply because of their ignorance, as more than 800,000 people are illiterate. And of these, 7 out of 10 are women.
I
know many close relatives and friends that have been evicted from their houses as they could not afford to pay the mortgage after being laid off from work. I'm afraid, and it feels terrible, not to be able to offer a better situation to my son.
The Amnesty International document also cites the problem of settlements, especially at the Cañada Real in Madrid, where between 25,000 and 40,000 people live and could be evicted from their homes without any guarantees or alternatives. According to social experts, those who have already been forced to leave say they were not able to stay long enough to collect their personal belongings. A recent report by Amnesty International highlighted the fact that much more needs to be done to improve the living conditions of Spaniards, who have seen it deteriorate in the past 3 years due to the economic crisis. Sonia Laboon, Press TV, Madrid.
Jimenez has also taught some of the country's most prestigious university students. He's now a professor of economics at the IESE Business School in Madrid, and he joins me now. Javier, thank you so much for joining us. In terms of what we've seen, there are very dire figures today, not only in terms of unemployment, but also in terms of retail sales and in terms of what we've seen in inflation. Is it worse than you were expecting?
Well, not really on the unemployment front. We were expecting pretty bad numbers. I am very concerned that the job destruction number came in at 265,000 jobs lost. This confirms basically that the Spanish labor market remains dysfunctional after the reforms. It also says that the reforms have not worked out as expected. Now in Spain there are about 1.4 million households with every person unemployed. Unemployment has increased in every single sector, and permanent contracts have fallen by more than temporary contracts. So that again says that one of the main goals of the reform has not been achieved. There is a ray of hope in the unemployment numbers, though, which is that in the Canary Islands we have that's the only region of Spain that we've seen employment pick up, and that is suggesting that tourists might be coming back to Spain, and of course that opens up a ray of hope.
Yes, and of course tourism, one of the big components of GDP over in Spain. But Javier, you say that this labor market is dysfunctional. You also expect, of course, new reforms, which you say would be half-baked. What is it going to take for Spain to turn the page on all of these troubles?
Well, I think Spain really needs some kind of policy jolt, some major reform, more radical than the ones we are seeing, with a confirmed effort to try to change things, and especially labor relations are the Achilles heel of the Spanish economy right now. We have tripled the unemployment rate that Germany has. Our numbers are simply dismal. It's 2.5 million people more that are unemployed today than there were in the third quarter of 2007, which was peak employment, and we clearly cannot afford such a huge amount of job destruction and creation of unemployed.
But Javier, I'm also worried, looking at your notes, you basically think that if the government was actually serious in reforming the economy, then they would have taken a step further. Does it mean that you believe the government isn't serious about reforms, and does it mean that you believe that eventually Spain will need to go through some kind of restructuring, or at least ask for a bailout?
Well, it's not that the government is not serious. I think it's more than the political costs in Spain are very high. Spain has a significant governance problem. There are 20 different territorial administrations that have a say on policy matters. It's very hard to get a coordinated action. So it's not so much the government as the general way the Spanish state is designed. So yes, I do think that we need some coordinated reform, both in the labor market and in the financial sector. They should be more radical than what we've seen so far. And it's a toss-up if we are going to need some kind of...
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Saturday, April 30th, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome everyone to this news bulletin. This is my website, www.ggnonline.com, ggnonline.com. This is a poll up here. What are your feelings on the Obama birth certificate issue? You can go and check that out. I think there's some pretty good answers that you can go in there and vote on. It covers, different opinions, I guess. If you'd like to follow me on eBlogger, you can go right here to follow on the right, or if you have a Facebook account, you can go all the way down to the bottom, and you can follow here. Click on that button there. All right, so we just watched a couple of videos on Spain and their problems. Two of the things that I didn't agree with was the illiteracy, and that was the problem. The people were ignorant. Oh, is that what the problem was? Because I thought the problem was that bankers basically just ran a big scam, basically, on the world. And, people that were poor are basically just going to go away somewhere, and the people who are middle class are going to become poor, right? And so maybe they just need more re-education, more indoctrination, and maybe that will help pay their mortgage off. And then the other thing, too, was in Spain, they're saying, oh, we need more radical measures, more radical. And then she's like, oh, we need another bailout. And they just said that the recent measures, the recent bailouts, didn't help the employment situation because you can't just print money and expect there to be jobs. It doesn't work like that. But anyways, you can do tax breaks. But without going too into it, of course, he said what? Oh, there's just too many districts. They're too fragmented. And there's, in other words, what he's saying is they don't have a financial and a political dictatorship yet. Because if they did, they would just do what we do in the U.S. We just stick guns at our congressman at gunpoint and say, hey, you better do this or else the economy is going to implode by tomorrow morning. And then they pass bills. That's how we do in the U.S. So, okay, so the dollar under pressure, euro at 16-month high, dollar retreats to 2.5-year low, and then Warren Buffett has something to say about it. There's no question the dollar will keep falling, and most of these links, if not all of them, will be posted in the video's description. My channel is ddarko2012 on YouTube. Canadian dollar heads for a third monthly advance on interest rate outlooks, and then U.S. Treasuries lifted by month-end buying. And it says here the Treasuries returned to most since August on slowing growth, says Fed. And it says Treasuries rose for a third week, generating the biggest monthly return since August. It is cooling economic growth and the Fed's commitment to maintain stimulus encourage demand for the safety of government debt. Then we move on to commodities. I usually go through this briefly. Brent crude is now at $125.89 a barrel, and it was up 87 cents. Heating oil up almost $3. Natural gas up 12 cents. Moving down to coffee. Coffee right now was up 65 cents. Cocoa up almost $60. And then corn up $27, cotton up $6, wheat up $23. So commodities really were rocking and rolling the past day or two when trading was going on. It says moving down here to precious metals, copper was trading at $417. It was down $8.25, but gold was up $25, trading at $1,556.40. Silver at $48.59. It was up $1.05. And then moving on to oil, oil may rise as dollar drops on Fed low interest rate policy. It's artificially manipulating interest rates. That's what we do as well in the U.S. And they just shut down banks whenever they feel like it. That's basically to get rid of competition, right? It says here crude settles at 2.5-year high, led by gasoline, and then U.S. gasoline prices surpass $4. That's for sure. Here in Indiana, there are some places where it's about $4.10 On average, it's been about 410. Premium is about 440. So. And moving on here, Russia to suspend gasoline exports. The Russian Energy Ministry has halted the exports of refined petroleum products for May since the country has run out of fuel in some regions. Then gold settles at record 1,556. And gold and euro keep climbing as dollar continues its slump. And it says sterling edged close to a one-year low against the euro yesterday amid mounting signs that the European Central Bank will be forced to hike interest rates further next month. Here's coffee. Coffee may climb 40% on Brazil frost risk as Kraft and Smucker raise prices. Brazil, the world's biggest coffee grower, is facing the risk of frost after hail this month, raising the prospect of a 40% jump in bean costs after Kraft Foods and JM Smucker already increased prices. So global warming once again strikes. Says here, sugar farmers sue over corn sugar campaign. Says here, a group of sugar farmers and refiners are suing corn processors for their attempt to rebrand high fructose corn syrup as corn sugar. So you can go in there and check that out. That's right. If you look on the labels now, if it says corn syrup, there's a very good chance that is high fructose corn syrup. So they change that, and now these bastards want to change it to corn sugar. I mean, that is false advertising. That's exactly what it is. It's lying. But because it's part of the eugenics operation, it will most likely go through. And here we go. UNILEVER price rises to avert profits worries. And it says here, Marmite and Magnum ice cream maker UNILEVER warned of higher prices yesterday to stop its profits from being squeezed by soaring commodity costs. Once again, like I mentioned in the last video, they'll keep their profits flowing the same amounts. They'll just pass the increased costs onto the consumer. And that's how it'll be. I mean, UNILEVER is just like the other companies like Monsanto, or I'm not thinking it right now, but it's like ConAgra, there we go. These are big global companies, and there really is about 4 big companies that you're getting your food from, and whatever they want to do, as a slave, you're just, whatever they want to do, you have to live with it. So if they want to raise prices, deal with it. China's farm produce prices fall last week, so falling prices there. It says UN warns of looming food crisis in Libya. So the humanitarian mission here is going forward. We're supposed to be, helping humans, our fellow humans here, as we drop cluster bombs and all different types of bombs on them, and yet they're starving. So it's a very humanitarian way of doing things. It says here, WFP, the World Food Program, launches emergency food operation in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. That's right, they're going hungry down there. I remember covering this about a month ago or 2 months ago, and they're really hurting down there as far as food goes, and they're only getting half the rations that they need to survive as of right now by the government. Jeremy Grantham, the days of abundant resources and falling prices are over, and Walmart, our shoppers are running out of money. And then it says here why Walmart shoppers are having gas pains, and it goes on there, and it says he specifically cited rising gasoline prices, talking about the CEO warning that his customers were experiencing significant financial hardship. It says a chart showing percentages of income spent on gas broken down by income gap makes it pretty clear. I'm going to keep moving here. You can check that out. Link will be posted. Economy hit by flights tax, soaring levels of air passenger duties or tax. It says here the highest level of aviation tax in the world are suffocating the economic recovery, an industry expert warned yesterday. Then tax hit Shell to cut back in North Sea. Royal Dutch Shell, that's right, Royal Dutch Shell, just like British Petroleum, yesterday warned that it was looking to pull back on a number of North Sea oil projects following Chancellor George Osborne's tax raid on the region. Then look at this. Amazon packing after House vote. Online retailer cancels contracts, job postings for the Casey site. This is in South Carolina due to sales tax collection exemption. And it goes on here. Illinois enacts internet sales tax law. Governor Pat Quinn signs into law, prompting Amazon.com and Overstock to say they will cut ties with the affiliates in the state. So just driving away businesses and driving away jobs, right? So ticket fixing dogs, NYPD, and it says here some 20 to 40 officers, mostly union delegates, are being probed for allegedly accepting bottles of free liquor, among many other little perks and bribes. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.